Special thanks to Patreon supporter Derek Frost Westbrook for making this video possible. Hello ladies and gentlemen, Scared204 here bringing you another Minecraft Modern Warfare aircraft tutorial. In this tutorial, we'll be going ahead and building the Boeing Sikorsky RAH-66 Comanche. The RAH-66 Comanche is an American stealth and reconnaissance and attack helicopter designed for the United States Army. Following decades of development, the RAH-66 program was cancelled in 2004 before mass production began, by which point nearly $7 billion had been spent on the program. During the early 1980s, the U.S. Army started to formulate requirements for the replacement of helicopters then in service, which resulted in the launch of the Light Helicopter Experimental Program. Nearly a decade later, following the refinement of requirements, evaluation of submissions, and the rebranding of the program as the Light Helicopter Program during April 1991, the Army announced the selection of Boeing Sikorsky team's design as the contest winner. Shortly after which a contract for construction of prototypes was awarded. The Comanche was to incorporate several advanced elements, such as stealth technologies and a number of previously untried design features. Operationally, it was to employ advanced sensors in its reconnaissance role, in which it was intended to designate targets for the AH-64 Apache. It was also armed with one rotary cannon and could carry missiles and rockets in internal bays and optionally on stub wings for light attack duties. Two RAH-66 prototypes were constructed and underwent flight testing between 1996 and 2004. On June 1st, 2000, the program entered its $3.1 billion engineering and manufacturing development phase. However, during 2002, the Comanche program underwent heavy restructuring. The number of Comanches that were to be purchased was cut to 650. At the time, the project total cost for the full production of the Comanche in such numbers stood at $26.9 billion. As early as the late 1990s, the government's Accountability Office had reported that it had serious doubts about the program, observing that the Comanche would consume almost two-thirds of the whole aviation budget by the fiscal year 2008. Multiple government agencies had acted to cut the number of Comanches on order, but as a consequence of the heavy reductions to numbers to be procured, the unit cost soared. On February 23, 2004, the U.S. Army announced the termination of the Comanche program, stating that they had determined that the RAH-66 would require numerous upgrades to be viable on the battlefield, and that the service would instead direct the bulk of its rotary system funds to renovating its existing attack utility and reconnaissance helicopters. The Army also announced new plans to accelerate the development of the unmanned aerial vehicles, known as UAVs, which could also perform the scouting role intended for the Comanche, but with less risk. Since program cancellation, both of the prototypes have been placed on public display. So yeah, the RAH-66 Comanche here, kind of your futuristic S-type looking helicopter. It was really designed to kind of, I guess, fill that role. I mean, what you're seeing in sci-fi games, and all that stuff as this stealth helicopter. This is basically what that was designed to fill. Unfortunately, the project obviously was canceled. I mean, rightfully so. I mean, this was designed to be more of a reconnaissance type helicopter, and when it really comes down to it, UAVs were definitely going to easily outpace and outperform the Comanche in the intended role it was supposed to fill. Overall, really still a cool helicopter and a very interesting one. A bit of a tricky one to build, as is with all stealth aircraft. They just have really weird kind of lines and shapes, and they're definitely a little bit more challenging than the typical kind of normal type aircraft. But I'm still very happy with the way this came out and should make it an awesome addition to any of your worlds. If you're looking for some kind of futuristic helicopter, or just want something kind of more modern for your battlefields you might be making. Before we go and jump in and take a look at this build, I do want to go ahead and give a special thanks to Patreon support Derek Frost Westbrook for making this tutorial possible. As always, if you're interested in supporting the channel more than you already do, feel free to check out my Patreon page. Link is down in my video descriptions, where you can go and put a small amount to the channel every month, and in doing so, earn a vehicle request of your choosing. It really helps support the work I do on my channel. It's really greatly appreciated, so again, definitely feel free to check that out. Links will be down in the video description. With that though, let's go and dive in here to take a look at the RAH-66 Comanche. So this aircraft here, we do have both a landed and in-flight version, as well as a version that you can have with the opened up, basically internal bays, which house those Hellfire missiles there on the sides, giving it a little bit more of a attack capability. Basically, we'll take a look at the in-flight version. So the in-flight version here, you can see pretty straightforward stuff. We have the front gun and basically the cockpit here with obviously the pilot and the probably weapons officer directly behind him. We have all the detail in here, shaping to kind of get that stealth type look to it. I think it came out pretty good. It's definitely a very tricky kind of build to try to accomplish and try to really replicate right. And I think that overall this really came out really well in that to that extent. But overall, that's pretty much the in-flight version there for the helicopter. And then, of course, we have the landed version as well. The blades rotated downwards. We have the landing gear deployed, and we also have the internal missile bays that are opened up there. So we'll kind of cover all those features there throughout the tutorial. Our first focus here is going to be building the main helicopter itself. So that's going to be building this kind of basically in-flight model and then modifying it from there to go ahead and fulfill our needs. But with that out of the way, let's go ahead and move into our tutorial by beginning with our first layer, layer number 1. Alright guys, so going ahead and moving into our first layer, we're going ahead and moving into layer number 2 actually. We're starting with layer 2 because layer 2 will give us a better basis to kind of build off of with layer 1 and layer number 3. So again, that's why we're starting with this layer. A few things I do want to mention real quick is that if you're completely new to my aircraft tutorials, the way I like to structure these tutorials, I like to do half on, half off. What this means is we're going to be building the entire center line on camera and the right side, and it'll be up to you guys to take the right side and copy it over to the left side. There will be some parts that are going to be asymmetrical on the build, and once we get to those points, I will talk about those a little bit more in greater detail, and those will mainly come around the tail section of the aircraft. Anyways though, with that out of the way, the last thing I want to mention also is that we're going to be going ahead and building the aircraft first in the in-flight configuration. If you are wanting to build this landed, we will be building it in flight and then adding the landing gear on at the end as a modification. To make sure that you build this the correct height off the ground, you'll want to make sure that this layer, layer number 2 here, is basically exactly 1 block up from this ground level. You can see here we have 1 block of space between this and basically, I guess you can say layer number 2 up from the ground level is going to be this level here of blocks. So just take that into account when you basically get started here, as that is how much space you'll need to put the landing gear on. Anyways, to go ahead and get started with here, we're going to place down a dark oak wood upside down stair coming off the front of that stair. We're going to place down a item frame with a black bed sideways and then a dark oak wood sign over it. The dark oak wood sign and item frame are able to be placed if you're on Java. If you're on Bedrock or Pocket Edition, you cannot place down an item frame and sign in the same block space. What that means is you'll have to go ahead and just place down the item frame and disregard the sign. Going back from the stair, we're going to go ahead and place down a row of green terracotta. This row here is going to be a total of 12 blocks back, so just like that. We're going to go then place down a total of 4 upside down pistons, so like so. If you are on Bedrock or Pocket Edition, I would recommend going ahead and place down 2 green terracotta blocks and 2 dark oak with top slabs instead of those pistons, mainly because we'll be using a tool on Java to go ahead and alter the properties there of those pistons. After that, we're going to go ahead and then place down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 dark oak with top slabs, 2 dark oak with trapdoors, another dark oak with top slab, another piston upside down like so. Again, if you're on a different version, a green terracotta block could work for this situation here. And then another dark oak with top slab on the end there. We want to go ahead and also take dark oak with trapdoors. We're going to place down a dark oak with trapdoor on the side of this piston and on the side of this slab right here, and this is going to be on the right side and the right side only, so just take that into account. We will not have anything on the left side on the tail section at this point in time. After that, going back up to the front here, we're going to go and place down a zombie head coming off the side of the stair, then a green stained glass pane followed by 2 musty cobblestone walls. We're going to go ahead and then place down a dark oak wood upside down stair followed by a dark oak wood upside down corner stair coming off that. We're going to grab our item frames again, and we're going to place down item frames on the side of this corner stair with a black bed rotated on its side, and then a dark oak wood sign on the side there of the corner stair, like so. After that, we're going to go then place down a row of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 green terracotta blocks back. On your second block here, we're going to place down an item frame, black bed in the item frame like so, and a dark oak wood sign like that. So basically the same thing we did previously, again on both sides. We're going to then place down 2 dark oak wood trapdoors that go back like that on the side. Then taking our green stained glass panes, we're going to place down 1 and 2, 3, and 4. If you're on Java here, we'll go ahead and place down a row of 4 of upside down pistons along this section here. So again, upside down like so. And like that, and we'll delete the blocks above them. If you're on, again, a different version, we're going to place down our 2 green terracotta blocks and then 2 dark oak top slabs instead of the pistons. Then after that, we're going to take our dark oak top slabs. We're going to go back 1, 2, 3, 4 top slabs, and then a dark oak trapdoor there on the very end. After that's all done there, that right there is going to include what we have there for layer 2. Here's what it should look like from the top-down view. And with that, we'll be going ahead and moving into our next layer, layer number 1. Moving into our next layer, we have layer number 1. For layer 1 here, we're going to start off by going ahead and placing down a piston that'll be going underneath the second green terracotta block here, followed by 2 more, and they're going to be upside down like so. If you, again, are on a different version, we'll be going ahead and placing down probably just a row 3 of dark oak with top slabs. After those 3 blocks there, we're going to place down 2 more dark oak with top slabs going toward the back. Then going toward the front here, we're going to place down a dark oak with fence gate, a end rod, a chain, and then a wither skeleton skull come off the face there of the chain. Then on the back here, on this green terracotta block after the slabs there, we're going to place down a lever. We're going to go ahead and skip 1, 2, and our 3rd space back, we're going to place down another lever that's going to be on the bottom there, flick toward the rear. And the other side over here, we have nothing going on, so that right there is just going to be a centerline build just for that section there. Now at this point in time, if you're on Java, we're going to go ahead and use a give command here. That's going to be /give space @p space Minecraft :debug _ stick. And this right here is the command you want. Pressing enter will give us this glowing stick. By using this glowing stick, we can go to these pistons here on the bottom and go ahead and right click them like so to go ahead and basically get rid of that kind of wooden section to them. Pretty nice little tool there to use to basically help shape our build a little bit more. However, we aren't going to touch the pistons back here because one thing that does happen if you do have a piston here that is debugged, by placing down a block next to it or anywhere that connects to it will cause that piston to revert back to its normal state. So we're going to hold off on adjusting the pistons on the back there until we get a layer up on top of it. Anyways though, that is it for layer 1. Let's move on to layer number 2. Moving into our next layer, we have layer number 3. For layer 3 to get started with here, we're going to place down a green stigma paint on top of the stair, a green terracotta block behind it, a dark oak stair, a green terracotta block, 2 black stained glass blocks, 3 black concrete blocks, and then after that, we're going to place down a row of green terracotta back. That is going to be a total of 17 blocks back. We're going to go ahead and place down an end rod on top of that piston. Then 2 green terracotta blocks going back from the end rod, and then a dark oak top slab on the end there. After that's done, on the right side here, we're going to go and grab mossy cobblestone walls. We're going to place down a mossy cobblestone wall coming off these 2 green terracotta blocks like so. And then over here on the left side, we're going to place down 2 dark oak trapdoors instead. So just pay attention, we do have that difference there on the back. With that all done, going back up to the front here, we're going to place down a zombie head. Coming off this green terracotta block, and then another one back. Coming off that stair, we're going to place down a dark oak stair here, dark oak slab. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16 green terracotta blocks back. So in total, this will be 16. 2 mossy cobblestone walls, and 1 and 2 green stained glass panes back. After that, going back up to the front here, we're going to go to our 3rd block back. We're going to place down 1, 2, 3 green stained glass panes, and then after that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 green stained glass panes after that. In addition, from the previous layer, we do also want to place down 2 zombie heads here on the sides of those 2 blocks underneath there. After that, though, we're going to go and then place down two green stained glass panes like so, and then 2 dark oak wood trapdoors directly after that. So 1 and 2, like that. After that, that right there is going to basically complete what we have there. And also in the front here, on these 2 green terracotta blocks, we'll place down 2 zombie heads as well. And that right there will pretty much wrap up everything we have there for this layer. So anyways, taking a look at it from above here, this is what it should look like for the top-down view with layer 3 complete. And with that, we'll be going ahead and moving into our next layer, layer number 4. Moving into our next layer, we have layer number 4. For layer 4 to start with, we're going to place down a dark oak wood trapdoor on top of this green terracotta block, another brick stair on top of this green terracotta block here. And then we're going to then place down 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 black stained glass blocks back from that. Then taking our green terracotta, we're going to place down a long row of green terracotta going back. That's going to be a total of 16. Then an end rod, a green terracotta block, another end rod, green terracotta block, and then a mossy cobblestone wall like so. On the tail here, we're going to place down an item frame that's going to be on that center green terracotta block. In that item frame, we're going to place down a green terracotta block and then a dark oak wood sign over it if you're on Java. That'll be on the left side here, and then on these green terracotta blocks here to both sides, we're going to place down dark oak wood trapdoors. On the inside here, however, we're going to place down a mossy cobblestone wall on both sides here, like that, and then a green stained glass pane in this corner space, like so, between that wall, those two walls. We then want to go ahead and go to the side here. We're going to go ahead and do the same thing we did over on the other. So we're going to place down a item frame, a green terracotta block in the item frame, and then a dark oak wood sign if you're on Java. So just pay close attention to those two differences there, and that is what it should look like on the back there for that tail. So again, the right side there could be a little bit different. After that though, going back up to the front, we're going to place down a zombie head coming off the side of this nether brick stair, the 1 and 2 nether brick walls back. A dark oak wood stair with a dark oak wood sign coming off the front of the stair. And after that, a dark oak wood slab going back. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 green terracotta blocks back. 1 and 2 mossy cobblestone walls. 2 green stained glass panes. And then a zombie head here on the very end. Continuing on, we're going to go ahead and place down a dark oak wood trapdoor coming off this green terracotta block here. And after that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 green stained glass panes back. And then a narrow dark oak wood trapdoor right there. We also want to go ahead and place down an item frame coming off this second green stained glass pane here from the front. Green terracotta block in the item frame and a dark oak wood sign there on the side of that glass pane like so. And once we have that all complete there, that right there is going to conclude what we have for layer number 4 for the build. And taking a look at it from above here, this is what it should look like for the top-down view. Anyways, that's it for layer 4. Let's move on to layer number 5. Moving into our next layer, we have layer number 5. For layer 5 to begin with, we're going to place down a nether brick stair on top of that black stained glass block, followed by 4 black stained glass blocks back from the nether brick stair. After that, we're going to place down a row of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 green terracotta blocks. We're going to go ahead and place down a piston here, or if you're on a different version of Minecraft, you can also use the endstone portals. Pistons here obviously going to be the preferable option for us on Java. We're going to go ahead and place down a nether brick slab, and then a daylight detector, followed by 3 dark oak wood trapdoors. We're going to go and skip 1 and 2 spaces after the last trapdoor. In our third block back, we're going to place down a green stained glass pane, a green terracotta block, a end rod, and then 2 more green terracotta blocks back from that. On the right side here, to place down a green stained glass pane coming off this one, and then 1 back like so. And then on the back here, on these 2 green terracotta blocks, we're going to place down 2 green stained glass panes on the sides of those, like so. Then on the other side here, the left side, we're going to place down a dark oak wood trapdoor coming off these 2 green terracotta blocks. That's on either side of the end rod. So just like that for the tail there. So just again, make sure you pay close attention to the 2 differences there. With that done, we want to go and then go back up to the front here. We're going to place down a black stained glass pane coming off the side of that block, then a green stained glass pane, and then 2 black stained glass panes back, a green terracotta block, back concrete, 2 green terracotta blocks, black concrete, and 2 more green terracotta blocks, followed by a piston or endstone portal frame, whichever you used. In the center there, a dark oak wood slab, and then a daylight detector like that going back. At this point in time, we're going to go ahead and take our debug stick. We're going to go ahead and right click the pistons, and that will get rid of that top portion there and help slope our back there. As well as we can go to the pistons on the bottom here as well from the previous layers and actually right click these pistons as well to remove that wooden portion there of them like so. And just like that, you have the shaping here for the build, which looks a little bit better and a little bit more accurate to the actual aircraft. Now after that's done, to the sides, we're going to place down a wither skeleton skull, like so. Then a iron bar. After the iron bar, we're going to place down 2 mossy cobblestone walls. Then a black stained glass pane. And then a zombie head, and then a dark oak wood trapdoor on the side of that green terracotta block, like so. At this point, again, for us Java players, we can go ahead and modify the properties of the fence, or the iron bar and the black glass pane to help these extend almost to connect up to those zombie heads. So for this, super simple. By left clicking, you'll get a selected facing, so it'll be selected north, east, south, or west. You may have to play around with this helicopter depending on the way you have this helicopter oriented. It's probably going to be different from what I have, so just make sure that you are paying close attention to that. You may have to mess around with it a little bit, but basically we just want to go ahead and basically edit this until we get to our direction we want, and we'll just go ahead and right click and it will extend the iron bar or the glass pane in that direction. So you can see here it kind of extends toward this wither skeleton skull by changing the direction for me, which would be the south and the north. So north for this black stained glass pane, and the south there for that iron bar. And that right there extends both those like so, and kind of helps fill that area in a little bit better and makes it look a little bit nicer and more structured better. Maybe as though that right there is going to conclude everything for layer 5. Let's move on to layer number 6. Moving into our next layer, we have layer number 6. For layer 6 to get started with here, we're going to go ahead and place down a daylight detector on top of that second black stained glass full block with it turned to night mode. We're going to go ahead and place down 2 nether brick slabs back, then a row of 4 of green terracotta, a dark oak wood stair, dark oak wood trapdoor, and a polished black stone button. That right there is going to be the front. After that, to the side here, we're going to place down a green stained glass pane to the side of that first green terracotta block, a andesite wall, and then 2 mossy cobblestone walls back, a dark oak wood slab, a dark oak wood trapdoor, and then a rail. Like so, we want the rail facing this direction here, so you may need to extend one rail like that forward, whichever you need to do to basically get the rails to look like so. After that, we also want to place down an item frame on the side of this green stained glass pane. In those item frames, we're going to place down a black bed, rotated sideways, and then a dark oak wood sign there coming off that glass pane like so for us on Java. Last thing we need to do here for this layer is to go back to the tail. We're going to place down a green stained glass pane on top of that green terracotta block, then 2 green terracotta blocks back from the green stained glass pane, and then another green stained glass pane there on the back. We're going to place down 2 dark oak wood trapdoors on the sides there of those 2 green terracotta blocks for the right side. Left side here, we're just going to place down 1 dark oak wood trapdoor on the side of this first green terracotta block. With that all complete though, that right there is going to wrap up everything we have there for layer number 6, and with that we'll be going ahead and moving into our last final layers. Moving into our final layers here for the in-flight version, we have layers 7 through 9. For these layers to start with, we're going to go ahead and go up to this section here. We're going to place down a green terracotta block on top of this one here. Then we're going to go ahead and surround the 4 sides here with that block with green stained glass panes, and then just a dark oak wood slab up on top, and we're going to leave that as is. Moving back to our tail, we're going to place down a green stained glass pane on top of this block here, then 2 green terracotta blocks back from that like so. We then want to place down a green stained glass pane on top of this block, a green terracotta block going back, and then a green stained glass pane there on the very end. Once we have that done, we're going to then go off of the middle block, and we're going to be going ahead and building our horizontal stabilizers, which will be a row of 3 of dark oak wood trapdoors out to the side. So 1, 2, and 3, and over here 1, 2, and 3. On the top, we're going to place down a redstone repeater, like so, and then we're going to place down green carpet on those dark oak wood trapdoors to the sides there, like so, for again those horizontal stabilizers on the tail. And that right there will basically wrap up the tail, and with that will wrap up basically everything we have there for layers 7 through 9. And at this point in time, we're going to be going ahead and now moving into the rotors. So we'll be covering the 2 configurations for the rotors, both the landed and in-flight versions. So use this time now to go ahead and look at the video scroll bar. You can go ahead and skip ahead to whatever you need to go ahead and look at. We will be covering 4 things. It'll be both the landed and in-flight rotor configurations, then the open kind of, I guess, weapons doors, or whatever you want to call it, weapons bay doors with the Hellfire missiles equipped, and also the landing gear. So at this time, again, feel free to look at the scroll bar, look at the video chapters, and go ahead and skip ahead to wherever you need to, depending on which version you want to build. With that, let's go ahead and move into the in-flight version rotors. Alright guys, so begin with our first set of rotors here. We're going to be going ahead and start off with the in-flight version. It's pretty simple to do. We're going to go ahead and start off by going ahead and placing down a polished black stone pressure plate on top of those glass panes all the way around. Then a polished black stone top slab coming off the glass pane toward the front there. After that, we want to place down 10 of our polished black stone slabs. So let me go and grab those real quick. And just double check my count here again. I want to make sure everything's correct. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we actually have 9 here going forward. So we're going to place down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're going to go ahead and then place down 2 skeleton skulls like this, basically back to back, like so. And then a birchwood top slab coming off those weird skeleton skulls like that. And that'll be basically our front blade. That'll be sticking forward. To the sides here, we're going to place down a polished black stone brick slab. We're going to go ahead and place down 3 polished black stone top slabs to the side here. Then we're going to go and go forward with 4 at an angle like that. And then we're going to go to 2. Then our wither skeleton skulls again. And then our birchwood top slab for that blade. Our other blade over here will be done by placing down a polished black stone top slab. Then 1, 2, 3 polished black stone top slabs. Then a row of 4. And then a row of 2 we're going to place down our 2 wither skeleton skulls. Now this time these will be going toward the back there, and then we're going to place down our birchwood top slab like so. So it's going to be a little different there, kind of angled off to the side there like so. Then at this point, we're going to go ahead and then place down a polished blackstone top slab. That'll be coming off basically the sides there of that glass pane at an angle like so. For the blade going to the left here, we're going to place down a polished blackstone top slab. Then we're going to go over to the side 2 top slabs. Then 1. Then 2. 2. 1. We're going to then place down a wither skeleton skull like this to the side, and then 1 right behind it, and then a birchwood top slab like so. Our other blade's gonna be pretty simple or similar. It's gonna be a polished blackstone top slab. Then we're gonna go to 2 out to the side. 1, 2, 2, 1. And then for this right here, we're gonna place down a wither skeleton skull like this. 1 right here, and then a birchwood top slab like that. And that right there will basically conclude that. Actually, we're gonna go and adjust this here, and we'll just go ahead and take the wither skeleton skulls out to the side here, and then a birchwood top slab. Looks a little bit better for that. But yeah, that right there is going to basically conclude our in-flight rotors, which will be put onto the aircraft. As you can see, pretty straightforward stuff, nothing too complicated for them. And again, here's an aerial overview of what those blades look like completed. With that all done though, and out of the way, that is going to conclude the in-flight rotors. And with that, let's move on to the landed version. Alright guys, so going ahead and moving into our landed rotors. To go ahead and begin with, we're going to place down a polished blackstone pressure plate on top of each one of these glass panes like so. We then want to place down a polished blackstone brick slab coming off this glass pane toward the front. We're going to then place down 1, 2, 3, and 4 polished blackstone top slabs going forward. Actually, my bad, it's only going to be 3. So 3 going forward. Then at this point, we're going to drop down to a half slab. We're going to place down a row of 4 of half slabs. Or sorry, row of 5 of half slabs. Then we're going to drop down again to a top slab. We're going to go ahead and then place down a wither skeleton skull like this, and 1 right behind it, and then a birchwood top slab to the side there. After we have that done, going out to the sides, we're going to place down a polished blackstone slab like so. Then we're going to go ahead and place down 1, 2, and 3 slabs like that to the side. We're going to then go out to the side, out to the side 1 more, so forward and out to the side, and drop down to a row of 4 of half slabs of polished blackstone. And then we're going to then drop down again to a polished blackstone, or we're going to have a polished blackstone top slab like this, kind of come off that one at an angle, and then we're going to drop down to a half slab. So we have a half slab, top slab, and then we're going to place down our wither skeleton skulls. So they'll be like this, and these ones here will face toward the back, so they kind of go back like so. For that, and again, make sure that this birchwood top slab is a top slab. So that's that blade there. Blades over here to this side, gonna be kind of the same thing. Polished brick, or polished blackstone brick slab. Then 1, 2, 3 out to the side. We're gonna go ahead and go down, forward, 1, 2, 3 slabs. Then over 1 slab like so. Drop down to 1 top slab. Then our wither skeleton skulls, 1, 2, like this, and then our birchwood top slab like that to go ahead and finish that off there for that blade. And then the rear ones here, we're going to place down polished blackstone top slab, coming off the corners there of that glass pane. From this, we're going to go ahead and place down a top slab of polished blackstone. And we then want to go ahead and place down 2 more. So we're going to go out to the side 2. We're going to go then drop down and do a row of 1. So it's going to drop down 1 slab like this. Then we want to go back row 2, then another row 2 like this back. We're going to go ahead and then go over. This is going to drop down, be a top slab. We're going to place down a wither skeleton skull like this, 1 next to it, and then a wither skeleton skull, or a birchwood top slab coming off it like so. To the other side here, pretty much the same thing. Polished blackstone top slab, over to the side, 1, 2. Then we're going to drop down to 1 like this, then 2 more over, another 2 over, and then another top slab like this, followed by 2 wither skeleton skulls like so, and then a birchwood top slab like that to the side there. And with that all done right there, that right there is going to basically conclude the landed rotors. And at this point in time, we're going to go ahead and now move into the basically internal munitions storage stores. So with that, let's go ahead and move into those armaments. Alright guys, so go ahead and move into those internal kind of munitions storage. For these to build the doors open, we're going to go ahead and start by going ahead and go into this section here. We're going to go ahead and break this mossy cobblestone wall, replace it with a dark oak stair, and we then want to replace the next 3 walls with the stairs like that, so you have a total of 4 stairs there along the side. We're going to go ahead and place down 1, 2, 3, and 4 dark oak stairs, and then 1, 2, 3, and 4 daylight detectors. After we have that all done there, we can go ahead and break a space in the inside here. So we'll just kind of break this out like this underneath those stairs. Again, you will have those pistons kind of go crazy there if you are on Java. But once we get to this point here, we're going to go ahead and just place down some iron trapdoors here on the top there for a little bit of the coloring in there in that area. And that's pretty much really all we can do. We don't really have much flexibility in that area, unfortunately. But we just have to kind of use our imagination for that section there. But we'll have that area open. And again, we can go ahead and just use our give command that we used previously in the tutorial. Grab our debug stick. And again, we can just alter the pistons here to go ahead and manipulate them to where we need them to be. So like that. Anyways, though, once we get to this point, we're going to go ahead and then place down a a birchwood top slab underneath the stair and daylight detector. We're going to place down wither skeleton skulls, which will be coming off of those, like so. We're going to place down a dark oak wood fence gate on both sides here, then a birchwood fence gate going back, and then a polished blackstone top slab on the very ends here. So just like that, and that'll basically make our missiles there. And then to the sides, we're just going to place down 1, 2, 3, 4 dark oak trapdoors and close those trapdoors like so. And that right there is all you really need to do to make those little kind of deployable or extendable missiles to kind of give this a little bit more of an attack appearance. So with that, that right there is going to conclude that missile bay. And with that, the same thing can be replicated over to the air side of the aircraft as well. And we'll move on to the landing gear. Alright guys, so when it comes to doing the landing gear is also really simple to do. We're going to go ahead and go to this section here of the aircraft and break this green terracotta block, this item frame, and the green terracotta block behind it, this dark oak wood trapdoor, and green terracotta block. We're going to place down 3 iron trapdoors across that section there. And then we want to go and then place down a row of 3 of dark oak wood upside stairs, like so. We may need to break our way out of here a little bit as we kind of entrapped ourselves. So just like that, we're going to go then place down a block of coal beneath the bottom stair there, or the back stair like so. Then a lever coming off of it going forward. And then we have this green banner design, which I'm not going to go ahead and show how to make it illume because it's pretty simple. I can just explain it. It's a green banner with a black border and that black horizontal stripe there for the center. Again, really simple to make, only a couple of materials. This right here will just go on both sides of the block of coal to go ahead and create basically the wheel here. And again, that'll be applied to both sides of this block of coal. So just like that, and that'll be our front wheel, and the same thing will be applied to the air side to go ahead and copy that wheel over. Anyways, let's move on to the back wheels. And moving on to the back wheels, we're going to start by placing on a dark oak wood sign on both sides of this top slab here. We're going to replace this trapdoor here with an upside down stair, then a dark oak wood sign on both sides of the stair. Going back from that stair, we're going to place down a dark oak wood fence gate. Again, a dark oak wood sign on both sides of the fence gate. Then below it, we're going to go ahead and go down, and we're going to place down a wither skeleton skull on the ground level. And at this point, if you're on a different version other than Java, you can go ahead and use a dark oak wood fence gate and open it up toward that wither skeleton skull. Or if you're on Java, we can go ahead and use a technique here by placing down a random block right here, so right underneath that slab there, leaving a space of 1 between the wither skeleton skull and this block. We're going to place down a lever on the side of that block and use our debug stick here. We can go ahead and left click until we get to selected facing, and it should have a direction. By holding crouch and right clicking, we can go ahead and rotate our lever there so it connects up to the back there of that wither skeleton skull, and just kind of helps create a more thorough and better looking wheel connection there for the back. And with that all done, that right there is going to wrap up the landing gear. And with that, that is going to conclude my overall tutorial here for the RAH-66 Comanche. Hope you guys do enjoy this aircraft and are able to put it to good use. If you do use this as I do, I say guys, give me proper credit for it. This being from a side of the build, to link to my channel or this video if this does appear in social media sites. And as long as you guys do give me proper credit, you're free to use it for projects you guys are working on. Overall, enjoy the build, have fun with it, and all that fun stuff. With it though, again, the big special links to Patreon supporter Derek Frost Westbrook for making this tutorial possible. As always, feel free to check out the Patreon page. Link is always in my video descriptions. With that, though, thank you guys again so much for watching. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. This has been your 204, and I'll see you guys next time.